Over the past 150 days, I've been consistently writing morning pages, and today I want to talk about how that has transformed me. I first started writing morning pages on January 17, 2024. So, here, let me show you. That's the date. Morning pages start here. 3 pages of streams of consciousness, non-negotiable, do not skip. Ever since then, I have been writing morning pages consistently. Well, pretty consistently. I admit that I have skipped a few days here and there, but overall, I'd say that 95% of the time, I'm pretty diligent with this. I started in this notebook that I've had for a while, and it ran out pretty quickly, and February 13th was the last day that I wrote in this notebook. Afterwards, I was thinking of either buying a new notebook and writing that, or just writing in this thing, and yeah, the latter is the one that I chose. So after that, I started to write my morning pages on my iPad. And here is what they look like. I'm gonna quickly show you. This is what it looked like in January. You will be able to see like a progress. So February, I basically just highlighted the date and the time that I started and also the time that I finished each day. And I also highlighted like my favorite line that I wrote on that day. Starting March, things kind of changed a little bit. I started to experiment with colors because I wanted to see how that looks like, and I basically chose a different color for each day. Yeah, it looked pretty colorful and fun to look at now that I'm looking at it again. Yeah, it is pretty fun, but I also got sick of it, so starting April, I went back to black and white, and I also highlighted the date, the starting time, my favorite quote, and also the ending time. And I started to be a bit more neat with my handwriting here as well. No, I take that back. I just saw some chicken scratch right there. And in May, a big change occurred when I started writing in cursive. Well, I've always been really into cursive writing, cursive handwriting, and I was pretty good at it when I was in school as well, so I did that for the entirety of May, and I really enjoyed it. Not only did it allow me to practice my cursive handwriting, it also felt more fluid, and I was pretty fast with it as well. So overall, it was very fun to do. But I eventually got sick of it again, and starting June, which is this month, for the first few days of June, I still wrote in cursive-ish, but then I started to go back to normal font, normal, neat, like straight kind of font, and I also started to write on black paper using white ink, just to see how it looks like. It honestly kind of hurts my eyes a little bit while I'm scrolling like this, but it also feels like really neat when you write. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, that's what it looks like thus far. And now I want to talk about what I have learned from doing this for 150 days. First, I honestly feel like a new person in a lot of ways. First, let me kind of talk about the reason why I started doing this at all at the beginning of this year, when I moved to Saigon. I also started reading The Artist's Way. It is basically like a course book for people who want to get in touch with their artistic self again and rediscover their creativity. And writing morning pages is a huge part of that process. Every morning you sit down and write 3 pages of handwritten stream of consciousness, like whatever it is that comes to your mind, you write them down. What this is supposed to help you with is to have more clarity in your thoughts, and also to get all of the worries and things that might bug you out of the way first thing in the morning, so that you can have a better rest of your day free of anxiety. That's the way that I look at it. However, for me personally, I did make a bit of a modification to this so that it works better for me. What I end up doing is, instead of writing strictly in the morning, sometimes I would write them in the afternoon or even in the evening. Maybe one day I wake up in the morning and I just don't feel like writing, or I want to prioritize doing other things before sitting down and write my thoughts out. I would do that instead. And then later on, usually like around noon or sometimes during the afternoon, I would eventually start writing my morning pages. The purpose of doing so is for me to kind of have a quick recap of the things that I've done so far, and also things that I want to work on for the rest of the day as well. So it's kind of like a diary, a journal entry. Well, in essence, I think it is just writing in a diary, but in a way that it's not just you writing things that you have done during the day. It's more than just narrating your day. To me, it's also you being in the same room with yourself and reflecting on your own thoughts and emotions, desires, worries, all of that. Now, when I look back on the pages that I have written, I can clearly see that for each period of time, there were certain things that were very prominent, and then it changed, and then it changed again. As humans, we're always constantly evolving, and the things that we worry about, we think about, the things that are important to us at a certain given time, I believe also change. I often put myself in like a third person point of view sometimes, ask myself questions, kind of help myself through my own problems. Usually what happens is I would be stressed out over something, and I would keep it all in my head, and the thoughts are jumbled up together, and it's really hard for me to organize them all in here. So having a way to physically see my thoughts on a piece of paper like this allows me to organize them and see where I can help myself, see the possibilities, put myself in a more solution-driven mindset rather than a purely anxious one. That's the thing that I have found to be the most helpful and beneficial, and it also allows me to be very active and in touch with my emotions and my hopes and dreams. So usually I would write things that I want to achieve or things that I'm manifesting kind of in here, and I don't look at it as like casting a spell or anything. It's more so that it signifies to my brain that I have concretely written what I want to achieve down in here. Now the next best thing to do is to take actions, and I would also write down the steps that I want to take in order to do the things that I want to. Because it is so free, there's no structure, there's no rules. You can kind of treat it as a to-do list if you so desire. I sometimes do it as well, but I also make it a point to write a separate to-do list because I need to see them in like checklist format rather than just like, this. It would be a bit hard to figure out like what are the things that I need to do today, if it's so messy like this. Overall, it has improved my mental state greatly. While I'm still struggling sometimes with certain emotions and thoughts, I can confidently say that a lot of the problems that I used to have no longer bother me as much, because now I have this knowledge in mind that I can always help myself by writing it all down and seeing the possible solutions in between the lines. A fun fact that I realized when I first started doing this is that I'm someone who doesn't really write by hand that often if it wasn't for doing this. So when I first started to write my morning pages, my arm and my wrist and my hand cramped like crazy. It hurt so bad for the first, I would say, 2 months of doing this. I tried to have better posture when I sit down and write the morning pages. I tried to position my pen, my notebook or my iPad in a certain way that wouldn't hurt this region as much. And now it has gotten a lot better. I don't really feel any cramps or soreness anymore. So yeah, that's a really great improvement. I've written down some talking points actually in my notes, and I've just decided not to look at it for some reason. Okay, I need to talk about how it has given me a routine. I've never been like a morning person. I can wake up early and do things, but I always find that I'm more creative and productive during nighttime. And I'm just also more willing to put in extra effort when it's dark for some reason. But since doing this, it has given me a reason to wake up earlier in the morning at a certain hour, because if I were to carry out my morning routine, which includes writing morning pages, drinking my coffee, and just like being by myself for a bit before starting the day, I would have to wake up a bit earlier than I usually would. So yeah, I did that, and I realized that it's not that hard, which surprised me beyond belief. I never thought that I would be able to function in the morning productively, but I have been for a while now, and it's really great. My day feels significantly longer, and I have more time to either do more things or to relax. And having a routine like this gives me the peace of mind and the certainty in knowing that my morning would look a certain way every day, and I actually enjoy the way that it looks. In terms of writing, I feel like it has given me so much more writing practice. Before I started writing this, I had always kept what I called a brain dumped notebook on my iPad, in which occasionally I would write in my thoughts and my worries. Basically, the premise of having that brain dumped notebook is very similar to my current morning pages, but I didn't do it very consistently. I only did it, I think, every few months. Doing this just gives me so much more writing practice, and I feel like I've become a lot better in expressing my thoughts and emotions verbally. I also realized in doing this and reflecting upon what I have written down that nothing really lasts that long. Emotions, thoughts, and sometimes even beliefs. I've seen so many things that I used to be worked up about or believed in so much, just like fleeting away into thin air, which is very interesting. I don't know what lesson I can draw from that fact. It's just a thing. Maybe that's all. So, do I recommend you try morning pages? Yes. I truly think that everyone can reap benefits from writing morning pages in their own way. This is just my experience with morning pages and how I feel it has bettered my life in so many ways. And I intend to keep on doing this for ever. I'm not gonna say forever, but for now, I don't see myself stopping this anytime soon. Also, has this helped me in terms of creativity and specifically music making? Yes. A lot of the ideas and random thoughts that I had while writing my pages have turned into songs. And I'm very happy about that. So that's also a reason why I want to keep doing this, to find inspirations from within instead of externally. I think those that come from within are always a bit more genuine, and I just feel more excited to work on them. Finding the right size is very important, because like writing for too long or too short would not be ideal, and you can decide to write for however long or short you want to. For me, 20 minutes for 3 pages is good. I think that there is only like one downside to writing morning pages digitally on the iPad. Like, you can't have this in your hand to look back on, right? Like, you don't get to do this. You know what I mean? You don't get to like flip through the pages. It's not very tactile. It doesn't, give you the sense of satisfaction that this can give you. But you can just also always just print the pages out and it would be pretty similar, but I find it to not be a big problem at all, so I am sticking with digital for now. I'm gonna keep writing my pages on the iPad, and it also means that I don't have to buy more notebooks or pens, and everything is like in one place, so it's really easy for you to find certain pages. And also, depending on the app that you decide to write your pages with, for me, I use GoodNotes 6, and it has a really powerful search engine in which you can literally search up words that you wrote. I'm not going to demonstrate it right here because I don't want to show you the content of my pages, but yes, that is a really nice thing to have. It may come in handy if you want to, look back on a very specific thought that you had at one point. I think that's all that I want to say for today. Thank you so much if you are still here and you have stayed this long into the video. This is something that I'm really excited to share. I have been really excited to share, and I'm happy that I finally sat down and talk about this. Comment down below if you have any questions for me regarding writing morning pages, your own experience with journaling in your own way. I would love to read them. Thumbs up this video if you like it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to. It's all free. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.